Hey guys, this is Caesar again for a new laptop review video. I know it's kinda late for the ROG Strix GL553VD, but here it is nonetheless. We've definitely been blessed by Pascal's introduction. The difference between desktop and laptop and video GPUs are narrowing. ASUS ROG's latest GTX 1050 powered notebook stands on its own, but for how long can it hold? Don't be fooled. Not all of the brushed aluminum looking parts are actually aluminum. Nevertheless, its premium look and feel and semi-rigid construction is a win for me. The color scheme isn't what would strike me fancy, but the shades of red and orange that they used blend well enough with the metallic black finish. The ROG logo on the back lights up the best in overly dark places. Keyboard flex is exceptional. I couldn't reiterate how surprised I was even while pressing down harder than I should. Even the display's flex is respectable. Ports were provided generously, I have no complaints about it whatsoever. What made me tear up a bit was the SD card reader. It's such a good thing to have on laptops for content creators like me. Despite its profile and general weight of 2.6-ish kilograms along with its 120-watt power brick, it was pretty easy to carry around on a daily basis and commute. It gets my approval rating as part of daily luggage. I use its display more than any of my external monitors for multimedia and work material that demands color accuracy. Even for gaming, it's definitely there but not at the top. The resolution and screen size strikes a decent balance for density. I got the variant with a 72% NTSC 178-degree wide viewing angle display, and I was definitely more than pleased with the time I spent with it. Albeit short, it was spectacular. A non-overbearing backlight bleed were present on the lower left and upper left portions as of typing. A little bit of color calibration will not do wonders, but it's there for those who want the most out of it. The RGB fad has yet to die, Lilo. Moving on, the GL553VD's chiclet keyboard was not even close to being an exception. The keycaps were unshined through, making it very hard for light to spread. It only was noticeable when the room lighting is off. If any, I love typing and gaming on it. Only when I use it at home was that I preferred to use my mechanical keyboard more. The i7-7700HQ and GTX 1050 combo fared well in my testing. Cinebench scores weren't astounding, but the 512CB the hyper-threaded quad-core mobile SKU continued to do its job. Temperatures, on the other hand, was quite disappointing. For some reason, on both synthetic and gaming benchmarks, the CPU kept on throttling. The hottest score while stress testing with IDA64 Extreme was at 86 degrees Celsius, with it throttling at around 20% in average. When you think about it, that's actually a huge hit in performance when it comes to real-world applications. Continuing the barrage of synthetic benchmarks, next up was Time Spy. It produced a rather decent score, but for the price that the ROG Strix GL553VD goes for, it makes me wince a bit every time I finish a benchmark run. On the gaming side of things, who needs ultra settings anyway when there's a more eye-friendly configuration that also gives you 60 FPS at least? Sidelining temperatures again, the GTX 1050 hovered around mid to high 70s without hitting 80. I find it really amazing, but the CPU's constant mid-80 output continued to be off-putting. The SATA 3 SSD did well in Crystal Disk Mark, netting 403.5 MB per second of sequential read and 153.9 MB per second in sequential write. The 1TB mechanical drive is by no means a non-reliable storage for games. However, I'd still recommend to have the games you actively play in the SSD or upgrade it to at least a 240GB one. Front-firing stereos haven't been my thing for a long time. There's a lot to critique with just the positioning, but I'd focus more on the overall clarity and room volume it produces. First of all, the absence of a dedicated subwoofer at this price point was uncalled for in some ways. I don't know what went down in the design phase, but with the gaming laptop this thick, surely some people got used to seeing a subwoofer down there. Volume is a-okay, though going for the maximum possible drowns out the entry-level clarity it produces. ASUS may have tried to make it as flat sounding as possible, but the highs get overblown by the mid and near peaks. The HD webcam does well for general purpose, maybe even for streaming. The relatively small 48 Wh pack inside wouldn't back a wall up for those who want to game on the go without surveying a cafe first for power outlets. Since I don't have a testing suite, I had to resort to practical methods by forcing the screen on. Do note that Wi-Fi is the other thing that's always on. While alternating between internet browsing and word processing, the ROG Strix GL553VD lasted a little bit over 4 hours. Gaming, on the other hand, is an entirely different story. Playing Tekken 7 on it from 100% took about an hour and a half before the laptop slept. Considering new releases like ASUS Predator Helios 300, it makes you think a lot. However, this is ASUS that we're talking about. Tried and tested local aftersales have proven why they have always done a podium finish. Again, this has been Caesar of Money the Shaker, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one.